Hello everyone and welcome to my channel, and today I'll be reading an Arlecchino listener by me. So let's get into it. It was unusually loud today. One of the children had broken a vase. Another had spilled stew in the hallway. And the younger ones, already frayed from a long week, were riding the edge of tantrum territory. You were crouched near the corner staircase, trying to coax one of the smaller boys out of sulking. His fists were balled, his cheeks flushed with frustration, and his little boot had just kicked over a bucket that someone had definitely needed.
He took my book, and she didn't even care.
You raised your eyebrows. Who? He didn't answer right away, just kicked at the wall. Arlecchino? You asked gently, and his lips pressed tight.
She just said, to be tougher. That's stupid. I hate her.
The words hit harder than you expected, even though he was just a kid, upset, tired, and probably sleepy and not really thinking. Still, the bitterness in his voice was sharp. You opened your mouth to speak, but a shadow passed behind you. You didn't turn in time to stop her from hearing. Arlecchino did not say anything. She just kept walking. You didn't get a chance to talk to her until hours later, after dinner had been served and cleaned up, and after bedtime stories were finished and the halls quieted into that gentle stillness that only came after every child was safely asleep. She was in her study, seated at the desk, paperwork scattered before her, but she wasn't looking at any of it. You closed the door behind you softly. I know what you're going to say, she said, not looking up. You stepped closer. Do you? She leaned back in the chair, crossing one leg over the other, the light from the desk lamp casting her in golden amber. She looked as composed as ever, but you could see it just behind her eyes. That upset. He's a child, and they say foolish things when they're upset. You stayed quiet. He'll forget he even said it tomorrow. She added, almost too lightly, and he took another step forward. But you won't. That made her eyes snap to you, sharp. You sat on the edge of her desk, careful not to disturb her work. Arlie, I'm not angry, she said. I didn't say you were. I'm not even surprised, she went on, folding her arms. Children do not understand structure, rules, the weight of what we have to do to keep them safe. So yes, when I tell them to toughen up, it's because the world outside will not show them mercy. He nodded slowly. And I know you believe that. I know you live by that. She looked away toward the window, jaw clenched. But he reached out and touched her hand. But it still hurt to hear it. Her silence was the answer. You moved your thumb gently across her knuckles. You don't have to pretend it didn't. I've heard worse. Not from the children, though. Her eyes closed for a moment. No, not from them. You waited. You gave her space to speak if she needed to step out of this wall that she had surrounded herself with, even if it was only with you. At last, she said, voice quiet, I give my everything to this house. I know. My time, my discipline, my protection, And yes, even my care. I don't say it, and it's not often shown easily, but it's there. He moved closer, close enough that your knees touched. They feel it, Arlie, even though they don't always have the words. She opened her eyes, and for a moment, you saw something raw flicker through them. What if they grow up and only remember the harshness? What if they hate me for it? Then maybe one day, when they're older, they realize it wasn't hatred you gave them. It was armor. A faint smile tugged at her lips. You and your metaphors. You smiled back. Well, they work, don't they? She leaned forward, resting her forehead lightly against your shoulder. He's 7, and he thinks I don't care. You ran your fingers through her hair, gently loosening it. He was angry. He wanted comfort, not a lesson. He'll learn. They all do eventually. She murmured into her collar. I'm not good at comfort. You're better than you think. No, you're biased. In reality, you are much better at comfort than I am. You know when to speak softly. I only know how to make them strong. Strength isn't cruel, Arlie. I think, well, you've learned a lot, and you think the only way to keep them alive is to do the same for them. To live with this way that you were used to. But you forget something. And what is that? You're still here. And they have you. You'll keep protecting them. And your heart is still intact, whether you admit it or not. You care deeply. That's not weakness. She pulled back enough to look at you, her hand cupping your cheek. You always stay through me. I love you. That's how I see you. So, will you talk to him? Do you think I should? I think he needs to know that you heard him, and that he didn't break anything by saying it. I don't want him to fear me for that. He won't, I promise. Not if you show him the side of you only I get to see. She cracked her wry smile. You're asking for quite a lot. That's because I know you'll listen. And you were right. Because she does in fact listen to you. It's very hard for Arlecchino to resist whenever you ask anything of her. And you know that very well.